So, let us consider another problem. We are asked to find the derivative of a constant function. So, that means f of x is defined as some k, a constant, for all x in R. It is the constant function. So, now we go to the ratio. The ratio is f of x plus h minus f x by h. F of x plus is k, f of x is also k, and that gives us 0. Therefore, its limit is 0, that is f prime x is the new function which is the derivative of f x, that is equal to 0 throughout. Again a constant function, but 0. Okay. So, we consider the next problem. Suppose n is given to a positive integer 1, 2, 3 or anything out of that, n is a natural number. Now, f x equal to x to the power n is the power function that is defined throughout R now, and we want to find what is its derivative at any x, and it is claimed that the derivative will be n into x to the power n minus 1. Now, how do we show it? Well, we start with the limit. So, we go on writing like this. It is a convenient way of writing, but actually after this limit exists only we can write this. So, as a trial we go on doing it. If that exists, it is okay. If it does not exist, we say that we erase this and say that this f prime x does not exist. Okay, so, let us try. Now, the ratio is x plus h to the power n minus x to the power n by h. Now, we can use binomial theorem to expand this x plus h to the power n, which is x to the power n plus n x to the power n minus 1 h plus n choose 2, which is n into n minus 1 by 2 factorial, x to the power n minus 2 into h square and so on up to h to the power n minus x to the power n. This is the numerator and denominator is h. Now, x to the power n and x to the power n have opposite signs, they cancel, and this h also gets cancelled after that. H also gets cancelled. Now, you see that you have n x to the power n minus 1 plus h times 1 h is there divided by this. So, h goes to 0 means the whole factor goes to 0. Therefore, limit is n x to the power n minus 1 as claimed. So, that is quite straightforward. Fine. So, let us go to another problem. We want to find the derivatives of sin x and cos x if they exist. And here it is claimed that derivative of sin x is really cos x and derivative of cos x is sin x. We want to verify it. Okay. So, let us take the limit of the ratio when h goes to 0, that is sin of x plus h minus sin x divided by h. It is f of x plus h, it is f of x. Now, we can really use the sin half formula, sin a plus b minus sin a, something like that, sin x plus h minus sin x. So, it will be 2 times x plus h by 2 cosine and h by 2 sine. Okay. So, then what happens? It is the sin a plus b minus sin a minus b formula. So, it gives you sin a minus sin b equal to 2 cosine a plus b by 2 and a minus b by 2, sin a minus b by 2. But we do not know which one is bigger, that is why in cosine form we are writing. You can also write in sine form, right, thinking that h is positive. Anyway, so this is how it looks. Then this gives rise to cosine of x h plus 2, that gives you cosine x when h goes to 0. This is sin h by 2 by h by 2, that limit is equal to 1. So, this h and this 2 came as h by 2, that limit we know to be 1. So, when h goes to 0, cosine is giving us cosine x. So, that is how it proceeds. Now, for the cos x similarly, we have cos x plus h minus cos x, which is minus 2 sin x plus h by 2 sin h by 2 divided by h. So, again h by 2 will come. So, sin h by 2 by h by 2 becomes 1 and sin of x plus h by 2 when h goes to 0 will be sin x. So, this minus sign remains, you get minus sin x. So, that is just a verification of derivative of cosine x and sin x. Okay. Let us take another problem. Here function is defined as x plus b, b is an unknown here, we have not specified what this b is, for x less than 0, and it is cosine x for x greater than or equal to 0. So, it is defined for all real number x. So, the question is, this unknown b has to be determined so that f becomes a continuous function. So, we are using again continuity here. So, once it is determines that if f is continuous, we have only one particular value of b, that is assumed in the question. We have to see whether it gives one particular value of b or not, or if it does not give, there will be a set of values. For all those values, we have to decide whether f x is differentiable or not. So, not only at one point, but any point f x is differentiable means at every point we have to see whether it is differentiable or not. So, first job is to determine b so that f is continuous, and it is defined separately for less than 0 and greater than 0. So, we will take x goes to 0 minus f x. At 0 only there is a problem, as we have seen earlier on the intervals. At the end points there can be possibly a break point, a discontinuity. Other points it is continuous. X plus b is a continuous function, cos x is also a continuous function. At break point only we have to check. So, when x is negative, you are taking x goes to 0 minus, x is negative but near 0. So, you have limit x goes to 0 minus of this function x plus b, that gives us b. And when x is bigger than 0, it is the other condition is applicable. So, x goes to 0, f of x will be limit x goes to 0 plus cos x, that is equal to 1. Therefore, for f x to be continuous, these two limits must exist and they should be equal, and they should be equal to the functional value. So, now what is the functional value? F at 0 is the second one is applicable. So, it is cos 0 which is 1, the same one. So, all that we get from this is b must be equal to 1, right. So, once b is equal to 1, our f is continuous. So, now with such a value of b, that means now we know what this f x is. There is no unknown. F of x is x plus 1 if x is less than 0, and it is cos x if x is greater than or equal to 0. With this f x, we have to see whether it is differentiable or not. Okay. So, now with this f where b is equal to 1, let us find out at 0. Other places is differentiable, right, because if x is less than 0, this is the function which is known to be differentiable, and this also will be it is differentiable because of x plus b, right. You can find it out also, because we have already known x to the power n form and a constant. So, you can derive from there, but we need some algebra of differentiability here, like algebra of limit, it will follow from there. And the next one is also differentiable, you know, cosine x. So, at break point only those end points we have to consider, less than 0 and greater than or equal to 0. So, at 0, then what will be at 0? So, we want to find out f at 0, f prime at 0. So, it will be f of the left side limit will be f of b minus our a b interval, f of b minus h divided by h, h goes to 0 plus. So, that gives f of 0 minus f of 0 minus h. So, f of 0 is equal to 1, from this we know, and when it is minus h, that is negative. So, it is x plus 1, that is minus h plus 1. So, this gives minus of minus h which is h and h cancels. So, we get limit as 1, that is the left side limit of the ratio for the derivative. Similarly, we should get right side also, which is f of 0 plus h minus f 0 by h, and it is positive now. So, the second one is applicable, that is cosine h minus 1 by h, and this limit we know cosine h minus 1 is minus 2 sin square h by 2 by h. So, bring this h by 2 to here, that 2 to here. So, now sin h by 2 by h by 2 is 1, but another sin h by 2 remains. Now, sin h by 2 limit will be 0, therefore, limit is 0. So, that means the function is not differentiable at 0, right. The left side limit of the ratio and right side limit of the ratio are not same, therefore, limit does not exist. Hence, f prime 0 does not exist. We cannot write even f prime 0, right? The limit does not exist. The function is not differentiable at x equal to 0. Other places it is differentiable. So, it is continuous with b equal to 1, but not differentiable. Fine. Let us take one problem, another problem. So, we are asked to find the derivative of this function f of x is 3x minus 2 to the power minus half from the first principles, that is using the definitions. That is the only thing we have, of course. So, now what is its domain? 3x minus 2 to the power minus. So, x equal to 2 by 3 it is not defined, and if x is smaller than 2 by 3 then it becomes negative. Negative to the power minus half is not meaningful. So, its domain is 2 by 3 to infinity open interval. So, you choose any x between this, that is an interior point of this. So, you have to get the limit. Now, the limit of f of x plus h, which is 3 into x plus h minus 2 to the power minus half, and minus f of x divided by h. This limit we will be computing. Now, do we compute? Let us write it in a better way. This gives square root of, this is 1 divided by 1 divided by. So, this goes to the numerator, this goes to the numerator on the other side, and divided by this factor into this factor. So, this one is there, right. 1 by h is there. That is how it looks now. Okay. Now, how do we get the limit of it? Well, on the when h goes to 0, this is we have to do something, because this h has to be taken away to find the limit. So, we multiply with square root of 3x minus 2 plus square root of 3x plus 3h minus 2 and also divide. So, that it will be giving us the some expression without square root. So, that gives 3x minus 2, a minus b into a plus b, 3x minus 2 minus 3x plus 3h minus 2 divided by h times this as it is and this also as it is. So, that is kept as it is. And the top we find it cancels 3x with 3x and minus 2 with minus 2. So, we get minus 3h and one h is there. So, this h cancels with 3h. So, we get minus 3 on the top, and down we have all the two other expressions, which when h goes to 0 gives rise to 3x minus 2 into 3x minus 2, here also 3x minus 2 plus 3x minus 2. Okay. And it is just a simplification of that. So, this gives minus 3 divided by 3x minus 2, and this is 2 times square root of 3x minus 2. So, that is the answer, that at every point of its domain it is differentiable and its derivative is equal to this one, minus 3 divided by 2 into 3x minus 2 square root of 3x minus 2. Okay. Now, the next problem says find dr by d theta at theta equal to 0, where r is equal to 2 divided by square root of 4 minus theta. So, r is a function of theta now, instead of x y we have r theta, and we want to find out its derivative at theta equal to 0 if possible. So, first thing is where it is not defined, it is square root of 4 minus theta, at theta equal to 4 it is not defined, and when it is negative also it is not defined, right, that is 4 is smaller than theta. For everything else it is defined. Okay, but we are concerned about theta equal to 0. So, we are safe in that sense. We can have always a neighborhood around 0 which is inside the domain. Okay, so, we take the ratio, it is 2 divided by, it is f of theta plus h, which is 2 divided by theta is 0 now, f of 0 plus h or f of h, 2 divided by square root of 4 minus h minus at 0 you take this theta to be 0, it gives square root of 4 or the simplifies to 1. So, minus 1 divided by h. So, this is 2 divided by square root of 4 minus h. So, it is 2 minus square root of 4 minus h divided by square root of 4 minus h. Again we may have to multiply similar thing, so that this h will be removed. So, we multiply 2 plus square root of 4 minus h on the top and on the bottom. So, the top becomes 4 minus h and bottom becomes h into square root of 4 minus h into 2 plus square root of 4 minus h. Now, when you simplify the numerator, 4 and 4 cancels and this becomes positive h, that h cancels with this. So, once that is cancelled, you have 1 on the numerator. Denominator, if h goes to 0, gives you 2 first factor, into next is 2 plus 2. So, it is 4 into 2 8. So, it is answer is 1 divided by 8. That is fine. So, let us go to next problem. Here we want to find out, if possible, the derivative of this function at x equal to 1, where the function is given as from 0 to 1 it is square root of x, and from 1 to 2 it is 2x minus 1. 1 is included in the first one, square root. So, the domain of definition is of the function is 0 to 2. F is a function from 0 to 2 to r, given this way. So, f prime 1, on the left side there is one definition, on the right side there is another definition, and f of 1 is equal to 1, right, f of 1 equal to 1. Okay, so, let us try. Now, both the sides limit we have to get. So, let us take the left side limit first. Left side limit is f of 1 minus f of 1 minus h divided by h as h goes to 0 plus. Usually instead of h goes to 0 minus, this will be convenient. So, we take the other way, right. So, f of 1 minus f of 1 minus h divided by h as h goes to 0 plus. That gives 1 minus square root of 1 minus h by h as h goes to 0 plus. So, that again we have to multiply 1 plus square root of 1 minus h on the numerator and denominator. Numerator becomes 1 minus h. So, 1 cancels, then plus h. So, h cancels and h goes to 0. So, it gives 1 plus root h. So, that gives you 1 by 2. Now, about the right side limit. So, that is f of 1 plus h minus f of 1 divided by h. So, that gives, this is 1 plus h definition. So, f of 1 plus h 2 into 1 plus h minus 1 minus f of 1 is 1 divided by h. So, this, since this is differentiable, that should give some answer. So, that gives minus 1, this is 2 minus 1 which is 1, minus 1 cancels and you have 2h by h and that gives you 2. So, the function is not differentiable at x equal to 1. We cannot find f prime 1, right, because derivative of f x does not exist, or the function is not differentiable at x equal to 1. Okay. So, let us take another. Let f x be a function. It is a different kind of, it is not given as f x equal to what, but given as an inequality, that it is a function which satisfies mod f x is less than or equal to x square for minus 1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 1. So, can we find f prime 0 by using this condition? Okay, so, let us try. First is we must get, for the ratio we must find f of 0. How to get f of 0? From this inequality it says f of 0 must be less than or equal to 0 square. So, that means f of 0 equal to 0. Now, we should start f of 0 plus h minus f of 0 by h. Since f of 0 is 0, it is just f of h by h. Now, f of h is less than or equal to, mod f of h is less than or equal to h square. So, that should give rise to some inequality. F of h is less than h square. So, that means minus h square less than or equal to f h less than or equal to h square for h positive, right. We think of h as positive number here. So, that gives minus h less than or equal to f h by h less than or equal to h. If f is negative, then of course, you get f h by h will be lying between h and minus h, the other way around. So, you may say that f h by h is lying between minus mod h to mod h, right. So, now use sandwich theorem, since it is minus mod h to mod h, use sandwich theorem. This goes to 0, this goes to 0 as h goes to 0. Therefore, f h by h goes to 0 must be 0. Fine. So, we have got f prime 0 this way. Let us go to next problem. It is basing on this idea. So, f of x equal to x square sin 1 by x if x is non-zero, and 0 if x equal to 0. See that sin 1 by x, since 1 by x is there, it is not defined at x equal to 0. So, we are defining at 0 separately. We will say its value is 0 at x equal to 0. Is it differentiable at x equal to 0? Now, you see it satisfies this inequality of the fourth problem. F x mod is less than or equal to x square, because sin 1 by x is bounded by minus 1 to 1. So, mod of f x is less than or equal to x square from minus 1 to 1, and we have seen that in that case f of 0 must be 0, and it is 0 already given. Therefore, it satisfies all the conditions and it is not differentiable. That is what we have found out. So, in this case also we conclude that it is not differentiable at x equal to 0, right. No, sorry, it is differentiable. We have found out that f of 0 equal to 0 and f prime 0 equal to 0. It is differentiable, its value is 0. So, we just apply that and again conclude that f prime 0 is equal to 0. Of course, you can do directly, the same method will be used to compute this and find that f prime 0 equal to 0. But one matter of concern, since this is defined only for x not equal to 0, you can of course differentiate it at every point not equal to 0. So, that differentiation will give rise to some result. If you take the limit of that derivative, that is not the same thing as finding f prime 0. That will say whether limit of f prime x as x goes to 0 exists or not. That is not same thing as f prime 0. F prime 0 is limit of this ratio, and this we have computed to be equal to 0. Therefore, f prime 0 exists and is equal to 0. So, we stop it here.